Welcome back. My guest today is Bryan Gould, founder and CEO of Aspenleaf Energy. Another looming challenge for the oil and gas industry is what will be happening with the Impact Assessment Act, which is that piece of legislation also known as the No More Pipelines Bill. And this was initially introduced by the Trudeau Liberals and their quite extreme Minister of the Environment, Stephen Guilbeault, in 2019. Thankfully, the Alberta government, under Premier Daniel Smith, later joined by the governments of Saskatchewan and Ontario, filed a constitutional challenge to this legislation and were vindicated in October of last year, 2023, in the Supreme Court of Canada as the court overturned this legislation on the basis that it was unconstitutional. It intruded on provincial jurisdiction. Guilbeault reacted by saying that he'd appeal this decision. Where does this stand now? What do you think the odds are that they're actually going to proceed with an appeal and perhaps be successful or not?
So first off, I take my hat off to our premier and Premier's Mo as well, having the courage to stand up to the draconian programs that they're trying to put forward in Ottawa. It is difficult, and I really appreciate the leadership that we have from our subnational governments leading the charge. And frankly, we need more of this, Catherine. We need people to stand up for what's right for Canadians, to stand up to the false narratives that are out there, and to stand up to what I call the watermelon socialists. So they're green on the outside, but red on the inside. And frankly, this is not about protecting the environment. This is about promoting big government, socialist agenda, which goes against everything that has led to the prosperity in Western societies going back through the Industrial Revolution. So yes, they are putting roadblocks up in the way. There's the Impact Assessment Act. There's the production/emissions cap, as we talked about. There's the tanker ban. There's clean fuel standards, and it goes on and on and on. So yes, we need our subnational governments and frankly, business leaders to stand up and to speak the truth. And, what I would say is I look for three things in people. First, I look for people to be curious and actually go beyond what you read in the mainstream media because it's not accurate and it's incredibly misleading. And then I ask people to just exercise critical judgment and look at the facts and think for themselves about reality. And then the third thing we need, as you've pointed out, is having leaders with the courage to stand up and say what needs to be said, whether it fits the popular cool kid narrative of the junior high club in Ottawa or not. We need people to speak truth. And that's why I'm so appreciative of having an opportunity and a window to come on your show today to just get in front of Canadians and speak the truth. And I would ask people to think about reading. For those that like to read, there's two books I'm going to suggest. One is a book called Unsettled. It's written by a fellow named Steve Koonin, who was an advisor in the Obama administration. And if you want to understand the climate issue, really understand it, I'd suggest read that book. And then if you want to understand the importance of energy in our economy, read the book, How the World Really Works by Vaclav Smil. And as I've noted, the modern world runs on reliable, affordable, secure energy and the materials that it allows us to produce. So yes, they can try all they want to pass this legislation in Ottawa. I do think it's unconstitutional. And frankly, the role of the federal government, in my view, is to break down interprovincial barriers. It's essential that we can get our products to world markets, and the markets and our allies are begging us to supply them with these materials. So, my view is Canada should be talking about how do we feed and fuel the world. And instead, we are putting these policies in place that are leading to deindustrialization, moving good jobs out of Canada, and putting the power in the hand of these emerging totalitarian dictators that frankly want to do away with our way of life. So yes, we need to push back on this legislation because it's insidious and it's counterproductive to the interests of Canadians.
Yeah, well, what's interesting, of course, is Ottawa is in turmoil right now, as we know, because even most of the Liberal caucus seems to want to turf Trudeau. So we're going to have to see what shakes out there. But one of the big positives that could come out of this is, of course, they won't even have the opportunity to appeal this legislation. It'll be gone, hopefully, forever. Well, we have to take another quick break now. Please stay tuned. You're watching Canadian Innovators.